News Talk KVNU, 610 AM at 102.1 FM.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by the Duck Hunter. The newly launched Cache Valley chapter of the Utah League of Women Voters has started up again after being dormant for some years, although the statewide organization is very active. The local chapter is wasting no time with events. December 1st, they will host a discussion meeting with Cache County Clerk and Auditor Jess Bradfield on the topic of ranked choice voting. On KVNU's For the People program on Tuesday, Kendra Penry talked about the newly revived group.
We started reviving it this year. I think more than ever, we've been talking as a community and as a country about voting and how important it is to be an educated voter. And League of Women Voters, as you mentioned, is so great about making sure people understand the issues and the people that are running. And a lot of people remembered when League of Women Voters was here before and wanted it to return. And you also have a lot of fresh new people here, myself included.
So the discussion on ranked choice voting will be held again December 1st from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church of Logan. And the event will be held in person or via Zoom. KVNU News Time is 5:06. KVNU weather for tonight becoming mostly clear and cold overnight, down between 15 and 20 degrees. Sunny and lower 40s on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. Friday, partly cloudy skies, high temperature in the lower 40s. It's been to 42. Right now it's 36 at KVNU. KVNU weather is brought to you by U&I Furniture. With families coming for the holiday, you'll need sofas to sit on, beds to sleep in, tables to eat at. Upgrade for less than you'd think at U&I. Always a better buy at U&I Furniture, 28 West, 1st North, downtown Logan.
How often should you change the filter on your furnace? A lot of people are surprised when they find out that most filters are only good for 60 to 90 days. Some cheaper filters won't even last that long. If you buy a good quality filter, you should still have it checked or replaced every year. Doing this will make sure your furnace runs more efficiently and keep the air that you breathe cleaner. For a free consultation, call the Duck Hunter, 770-4813.
KVNU News Time is 5:07. The U.S. is in better shape, approaching its second Thanksgiving of the pandemic thanks to the vaccine. But some cold weather regions are reporting surges of COVID-19 cases that could get worse in the days ahead as families travel the country. Nearly 200 million Americans are fully vaccinated. That leaves millions without a shot in the arm. Hospitals in the upper Midwest, especially Michigan and Minnesota, are filled with COVID-19 patients who are mostly unvaccinated. Dr. Rochelle Walensky of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says vaccines make the fall holiday much different. And Carrie Semmelroth has been appointed to the Idaho Senate. Republican Governor Brad Little selected Semmelroth today to serve out the term of former Democratic Senator Ali Raab, who moved to a different legislative district. Semmelroth, a Democrat from Boise, was among 3 people submitted to Little by the Idaho Democratic Party to replace Raab. Semmelroth works at Boise State University's College of Education. KVNU News Time is 5:09. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
At Winco, we do everything to save you money with low prices and top quality products throughout the store. Big savings on fresh meat, produce, seafood, and deli. And even bigger savings in our huge bulk item section. At Winco, there's never a membership fee to shop top quality products at low prices.
Now open in Logan at 1341 North Main Street.
It's Thanksgiving. You're with the ones you like. You just ate the best food you've eaten all year, and you're feeling it. An afternoon nap. It's gonna put all naps to shame. You nestle in, and then you realize it. your recliner is more comfortable than your mattress, and it's not even close. Let's do something about that. This is Ryan at My Mattress. The day after Thanksgiving sale is on right now, and it's the best sale of the year. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally on your mattress? Only at My Mattress.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Over 2.8 million Americans have served in our military since 9/11. Many have returned home with devastating injuries and few resources for them and their families. This is news correspondent Bob Woodruff. I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq in 2006. The military had my back that day, and they have each other's while serving. It's time we had theirs. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative. To learn more, go to gotyoursix.org using the number 6.
They think you really care, but myself
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Hour 2 of today's show, our last show of the week with the Thanksgiving holiday. Thanks to all of our guests this week. It's been fun to focus on a more positive side of things, and, well, I mean, 'tis the season, right? There is a lot of good going on. We've had reports here in Utah, despite some challenges as far as a labor shortage, if you want to call it that. 3 jobs for every worker looking for work right now in Utah, but the lowest unemployment rate ever. Record set on this. Also seeing job growth. We're also seeing economic growth. And all of this sometimes, understandably, falls to the wayside as we talk about the ongoing pandemic. Very real concern out there as we talk about things that are happening throughout the state that present challenges. Sometimes that gets the focus, understandably. But we wanted to do something a bit different this week here on the show. So we reached out to our state lawmakers, to nonprofits here in the Valley, and everyone we could, basically, and said, will you join us and talk about something from a public policy perspective, preferably, that you're thankful for? And one of the folks who agreed to join us for this here on the show is none other than Utah State Governor Spencer J. Cox, joining us now. And Governor Cox, appreciate taking some time to do this. As I mentioned, no specific questions here for you today. We can talk about the economy. We can talk about what else is happening as far as the upcoming legislative session. We can talk about the jazz. But, Governor, I did want to start out with just one thing that we're thankful for here at KVNU, your focus on the rural communities in Utah. This is something we've heard, no offense to previous administrations, but we've heard this a lot. And you are one of the first governors to actually make this a huge focus of your administration, not just in your outreach with the Direct Link events and time here on our show, but also in some of the policy that you've been promoting, including a recent announcement regarding health care in rural areas with a pretty creative plan there. And so I just wanted to give you that shout out for making good on that campaign promise that rural areas would be a big focus for you.
Well, thank you, Jason. I was very serious about it. And as somebody who grew up in rural Utah, I'm grateful for our rural counties. I'm grateful for the people that make up the backbone of our state. I'm grateful for the hard work that they put in every day to make our state better. And we wanted to give back and let people know that we cared about it from a policy perspective. I have an office in rural Utah. I make sure that I'm spending time every month in rural Utah, and not just me, but my cabinet and my senior staff as well, that we're reaching out. We are moving jobs to rural Utah, over 100 state jobs that I've been able to move in my short time in office, and many more to come. And so I am incredibly grateful this holiday season for my rural background and the people who are living in rural Utah today, that I truly believe represent the heart of Utah and the heart of our country.
It has, as I mentioned, as you and I chatted a bit before, the pandemic does just kind of weigh on everyone's mind, probably a primary concern for most people still, and that does mean a lot of things sort of fall to the wayside, don't get talked about or spotlighted. But this last year has been a pretty good year for Utah.
Well, it's been a remarkable year for Utah. Again, depending on how you measure that, certainly economically. I mean, there's an argument that it's the best year in our state's history. Considering we're coming out of a pandemic, a lot of people don't realize this, but we're for a long time, we were one of only 2 states that had positive job growth, in that we have more jobs now than we had before the pandemic. I think there may be 4, a couple others have just creeped above that line, but we are significantly ahead of where we were just 2 years ago. And again, those are real jobs for real people. It's really easy, I think, in my job and in government and probably in the media, to just look at numbers and to forget that every one of those numbers represents a human being, someone with hopes and dreams, someone who is trying to make their life better, someone who's trying to provide for their family. And I just spent a day yesterday serving Thanksgiving meals to our homeless friends in the Salt Lake City area. And it's a stark and important reminder of how fortunate we are and the need to give back. I'm just so grateful for the people of Utah, Jason. It is easy to get discouraged in this pandemic and in the polarization that we're seeing because of that. But there's so much good happening around us, and I don't know, maybe because I'm governor, I get to see it a little more often. Every day I see things happening and people doing things in big ways, in multi-million-dollar ways, and sometimes in very, very small ways, just reaching out to a neighbor. But I get to see the best of Utah all the time, and I wish everyone could see what I'm able to see. And to see the goodness that's happening around us, it certainly helps keep me grounded, keeps my heart and mind in the right place, and helps me realize how lucky I am to be the governor of this great state.
As a candidate, I know you toured the state extensively, and then, of course, as governor, that's part of the job, to visit as many areas as you have been able to. Has there been anything so far in your time in office or in your time as a candidate for office, or your time as lieutenant governor, that you've just been surprised by something you learned and thought, wow, that's happening right here in Utah?
Well, I get surprised very, very frequently. As I'm traveling around the state, visiting different businesses and different nonprofits, and seeing some of the innovation that's happening here is truly remarkable. I mean, there's a company that is growing food and growing it all indoors under lights and using very little water, about 3% of the water you would normally use, and they're using that. They're growing food for people, but they're also growing food for animals. So there's a dairy farm on the west side of Utah Lake, and this technology by this company Grove, they grow this feed. It takes 6 days to grow the feed. They mulch it up and feed it to the cows. And they're what would normally take 100 acres, they're doing on a quarter acre under one roof with these towers inside and these lights, using very little energy and very little water. That's the type of innovation that's going to help us as the weather and climate changes, making sure that we have enough water for people and for our animals, those types of things. So that was one thing that really just blew my mind. But honestly, that's happening every day. I mean, these manufacturing businesses, people have invented things, and I was just at a business a couple of weeks ago where they've invented a product that that goes on power lines to prevent eagles from dying, and it's good for the power companies as well. They don't get electrocuted, and they don't short out the power lines, and they don't start fires. And it's just this family business, something that some people thought up and designed themselves, and that type of innovation is happening everywhere. And as much as I love that, it's the giving back piece that gets me the most. I was just with a nonprofit that goes into homes and helps families that are broken, with kids who are at risk, and they teach parenting skills, and then to meet with these families who have had their lives turned around, families that were falling apart that are now thriving. And those are the stories that often don't make the news, that don't get a lot of attention, but that are literally saving lives and saving families, and also, by the way, saving taxpayer dollars, right? Because these are kids that aren't in jail, and kids that aren't out causing problems, and the world's a much better place because of Utahns.
It's so great to take even just a few minutes and talk about some of this. And again, legislative session coming up. There will be challenges next year, some foreseen, some not. But to take a second, step back and talk about things that we can be thankful for, things that are going on here in Utah that are really bright lights in what can sometimes seem like a pretty heavy news cycle. Governor Spencer Cox, our guest here. And Governor, appreciate taking some time to do this with us here today. We'll speak again soon, I'm sure, and get back to the serious stuff. Anything you want to say? Anything about the Jazz before we part ways? I know it's been a week for them.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. They had a tough loss a little earlier this week. I am grateful for the Jazz and for sports. It's a good distraction from the cares of the world, and we've got a great team this year. I like our chances. Really excited, but again, there's just so much good, Jason, and I really appreciate you guys. If I could say one last thing I'm thankful for, it's for members of the media that are willing to do things like this and shine a spotlight on the good. It's easy to just focus on the bad that's out there, but when we see teachers teaching through a difficult year with COVID and helping make kids better, when we see these healthcare workers that are giving everything they have with our hospitals full to save lives, I realized pretty quickly I don't have anything to complain about. I'm very lucky, and I'm grateful for the people in my life that make life better.
It's our pleasure to spotlight some of this. And for listeners, if you'd like to know more about some of the things we've talked about, we'll throw some links up on the Facebook page. Plenty to be happy about, plenty to be thankful for. Despite everything else going on, we can pay attention to those things and take some time to realize there's a lot of good stuff happening, as Governor Cox has helped us spotlight here. And Governor, I really appreciate taking some time for KVNU today for this, and we'll speak again soon.
Happy Thanksgiving, Jason.
You as well. And for listeners, stay tuned. We'll be back with more right after this.
It started out as free,
but then they said it would only be a few cents a day.
What you're hearing is real, and it may be happening to you.
I pay for streaming video, then the cloud storage, then streaming audio. Where does it end?
It ended up being a lot every month.
This is the sound of nickel and diming syndrome. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
I just want to hear my music. Is that so wrong?
There is hope. For millions of people, there's radio.
Radio?
Radio. With 0 down and 0 per month. Radio delivers all the news, music, and entertainment you want, when you want it, for free. No usernames, passwords, or Wi-Fi connections required.
Here's my card number. It's 735...
Shh! Don't speak. When you listen to local radio, you'll never need that.
This is so wonderful.
Yes, it is. The cure for nickel and diming syndrome.
Oh, I could use a hug.
It's radio. No subscription required.
Pristine wilderness can still be found in the West, where creeks run freely and historic apple trees still bear fruit. Maple Creek Ranch features breathtaking canyon views and opportunities for real estate development. 2.5-acre lots are now available with adjacent wilderness areas that provide endless riding and recreational possibilities. So find your piece of paradise just 35 minutes from Logan at Maple Creek Ranch. Schedule your appointment online at maplecreekranch.net.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months.
When he got injured, I wasn't prepared, but I knew I had to be strong. When I was told about John's injury, I was in complete shock. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug and letting him know I was there.
These veterans and families are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For thousands of severely injured veterans, everyday life is filled with barriers.
It was really the little things throughout the house. Counters that you can't roll up to. I had to drag my wheelchair down steps.
I want to help, but he is so determined.
At Homes for Our Troops, we build specially adapted custom homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and automatic door openers that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family.
This house is freedom. It's hope. It's a new beginning.
This house has given me my family back.
To learn more, visit hfotusa.org.
This is Detective Johnson from the Logan City Police Department. Scams in our community are on the rise and innocent victims are losing thousands of dollars. These scams are coming in the form of phony phone calls claiming to be from government organizations or legitimate businesses. They are also circulating on social media and emails. Almost all of these scams are asking for payment through gift cards that are almost impossible to track. No legitimate business or organization uses gift cards as currency. If you receive a scam of this nature, do not give the scammers any information and immediately call police. Remember, pause, stop, call a cop.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Thanks again to Governor Spencer Cox for his time today. Voluntary interview there on the governor's part, talking about things that you can be positive about or thankful for even here in Utah. Some informative stuff. If you want to know more about some of the innovative business projects the governor mentioned, things he's discovered are happening here in Utah as he tours the state, part of the governor's job on a regular basis. I've linked to some of those, courtesy of his staff. Thanks for sending those along if you're out there listening, on our Facebook page, facebook.com/KVNUFTP. Moving right along, keeping things upbeat here on the show. This was a really cool story at Science Magazine today. It's a cool story that also makes you think, why are people researching this? But there's a reason, so hold tight on that. The headline reads, "Scientists have found a way of turning popcorn into home insulation." And again, my first reaction is, what? Why is someone researching this? But there is actually a very, very good reason. Popcorn, if it could be used as a natural alternative to man-made insulation, would be, well, not only just better for the environment and better for our health. There are a lot of questions still about the effects of certain types of insulation inside the walls of homes, especially as sheetrock ages and things like that. But the real reason this research is happening is that it would be dirt cheap, and because in the UK, I didn't know this, there's actually a movement happening right now called Insulate Britain. This is stemming from some tragic stories recently of, I believe one was an elderly couple, and the other two stories were just folks who didn't have the money to keep the heat on, freezing to death in their apartments. And one of the reasons for this, as I understand it from glancing through the news stories, is that a lot of apartments, especially in low-income areas in the UK, are so old or were built so cheaply at the time, even if they're not old, that the insulation is inadequate, and even a couple of hours on certain nights without the furnace, too much for an elderly person's body. So after a few tragic news stories, this movement arose, and that's how this came to the forefront. This research has been conducted in London and the U.S. Since 2017. This also was highlighted by another UK event, the Grenfell Tower Fire in London in 2017, which prompted this research to begin. 72 people perished in London during that blaze, and it was unstoppable due to this external type of insulation that was used. It saves the developer money. This overall movement has erupted in the UK to better insulate homes and have developers stop cutting corners when it comes to insulation for fire safety reasons, but also people not freezing to death reasons. That's where this began, and the research was first coming out of the Göttingen University in Germany, and has since been picked up throughout the United States. The team behind the research said that they had already run some of this through some developer boards who specialize in this type of thing, and gotten a big thumbs up on their research as following the right path. What they found is that popcorn, when properly treated and then compressed, actually had excellent thermal insulation properties. And get this, I would have not have predicted this, it's pretty fire resistant. Again, when coated and compressed into like a wafer board type thing. So they take this giant vat of popcorn and they squish it down into this little 2 to 4 inch sheet of insulation. And researchers said the greatest advantage they found is that the granular material of compressed popcorn is, well, obviously plant-based, environmentally friendly, sustainable, easy to produce, very cheap to produce, and very low energy in its production and manufacturing process in general, compared to most of the insulation products derived from, in some way or another, petroleum. And they said that as far as insulation properties go, it held up with the most expensive insulation types out there you can buy. So the only question now is how long the popcorn boards will last compared to these man-made alternatives. If you've ever looked at this, the lifespan, every form of insulation has a lifespan, but the lifespan of that glass, you don't want to breathe it in or touch it with your hands type of insulation, is actually quite a while. The lifespan of chopped newspaper coated with fire retardant is also pretty lengthy, but less than the glass or fiberglass, rather, insulation. Then there are a lot of other types of insulation in between that, and then there are some that are the absolute worst. There was a form of insulation that was widely used in a few developments in Los Angeles, apparently, that was literally just cardboard, shredded cardboard, then recompressed and coated with fire retardant. It found it worked great as insulation, saved the developer a lot of money, but it had a lifespan of about 2 years. Unfortunately, renters only discovered that as they entered their second year of the rental lease. So you have to be careful with this type of stuff. But again, the feeling is from this research, and it'll take them a while longer to fully test this, but they believe certain types of preservatives that don't decrease the natural fire-resistant characteristics of compressed popcorn could be added to stop the popcorn or the sticky glue that's holding it together in a compressed form to deteriorate. Researchers say if those two things can be perfected, if there is a way to make this this compressed popcorn insulation last as long as the longest lasting forms of insulation, the cost savings, the environmental savings, and the overall ease of production in general probably are going to mean that in most, especially large construction jobs in the future, compressed popcorn is probably going to be a part of it. It's just weird to think about it. But they're testing it out now in homes throughout Britain, and again, some of that happening here in the United States as well. And the goal is, again, to see if it lasts or can be made to last as long as traditional insulation. What they do know from their research already is that it, in compressed to a 2 to 4 inch wafer board type thing, popcorn has the same insulation properties and effectiveness as some of the best. It's pretty amazing stuff, and not at all something I would have predicted. Check it out. I've linked to the story on our Facebook page, and you can actually download the research, which has a great video showing how much popcorn has to be produced to be compressed into an insulation quality particle board style wafer. It's quite a bit, actually. But again, it's cheap and easy to make. So check it out. I've linked to both the video and the research itself with an executive summary from the university in Germany and the university in Arizona on our Facebook page. And we'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:33. This look at the news brought to you by U&I Furniture. Leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have released a rendered drawing of what the Smithfield Temple will look like. The illustration was made public in a news release from the church this morning. The 81,000 square foot temple will be 3 stories and built on a 13.3 acre site at the intersection of 800 West and 100 North. It will be located on a plot of land owned by the church south of Birch Creek Elementary School and northwest of the Blue Sox baseball fields. The press release did not specify when construction of the temple will begin. Project leaders have been reportedly working with city officials on preliminary plans. Church President Russell M. Nelson announced the temple at the April 2021 General Conference. A trial date has been scheduled for a 31-year-old Logan man accused of killing a baby girl nearly 2 years ago. The 4.5-day jury trial for Kyle Gooch was set to take place May 23rd through 27th after a judge prohibited prosecutors from introducing limited details about the defendant's past. Gooch participated in a virtual hearing in First District Court earlier this week. He has been charged with aggravated murder, a capital offense, aggravated kidnapping, a first-degree felony, aggravated assault, and violating a protective order, both third-degree felonies and other misdemeanors in 4 other cases. Police allege Gooch smothered and killed the baby on December 14th, 2018. The girl was 4 days away from her first birthday. Since Tuesday, 13 more Utahns died of COVID-19, including a Cache County man older than 85 who was not hospitalized at the time. From the start of the pandemic, the lives of 3,470 Utahns have been lost to the virus. That includes 181 in Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. The Utah Department of Health reported 1,804 new positive cases of coronavirus today, 134 of those in northern Utah. Since the pandemic started, there have been 589,714 positive cases in Utah, 32,984 in Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. More than 31,000 COVID patients in northern Utah are considered recovered since the outbreak began. 1,529 in the Bear River Health District have been hospitalized. As of today, 530 Utahns are currently hospitalized with COVID, which is 6 fewer than on Tuesday. Among those currently hospitalized, 206 are in intensive care, 11 fewer than Tuesday. Since the pandemic began, 25,643 Utahns have been hospitalized. Utah Representative Blake Moore has proposed legislation in Congress to provide better management of conservation efforts for saline lake ecosystems in the West, including the Great Salt Lake. With broad bipartisan support, Moore's proposal unanimously passed the Committee on Natural Resources in the U.S. House of Representatives. If enacted by both houses of Congress, the Saline Lake Ecosystems in the Great Basin States Program Act will provide the U.S. Geologic Survey with resources to conduct scientific monitoring and assessments needed to establish effective management and conservation efforts to preserve essential saline lake habitats within the Great Basin region. KVNU weather brought to you by Polylift. Attention homeowners, you may have noticed a ground shift after your foundation's been poured, causing your house to sink or settle. Protect your investment from issues before they happen. Polylift concrete raising and piering will stabilize, lift, and eliminate further settling by using Magnum piering products to save you big money down the road. Polylift Concrete Raising and Piering are the foundation lifting experts. Visit poly-lift.com to schedule your free assessment or call or text 435-999-9309. Polylift is locally owned and operated. Mostly clear tonight, cold 15 to 20 for the overnight low, and then sunny into the lower 40s on Thursday. And then Friday, partly cloudy, hazy conditions, lower 40s. It was 42 today. For the latest news, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
The family's coming home for the holidays, and you'll need sofas to sit on, beds to sleep in, and tables to eat at. Upgrade your furniture for less than you think at U&I Furniture. Their #1 selling mattress is a Therapeutic Queen mattress for $399. An upgrade to a Maloof for only $599. Take home a good deal on an American-made sofa love or a recliner from Franklin, Southern Motion, Broyhill and Lane. And their most popular dining set seats 6 with 4 chairs and a bench for $899. Get your home holiday ready at the place where there's always a better buy. U&I Furniture, 28 West 1st North, downtown Logan.
When the bills from your accident pile up, it's time for you to consider professional legal counsel. Get the Bear. Berenson and Caldwell.
My dad was in a car accident. He was rear-ended by a work truck. He sustained some pretty bad injuries. What we didn't know at the time was that he also had sustained a traumatic brain injury, and it really affected his personality. You know, if he had just had an MRI, if he'd had someone pushing him to get checked out, make him feel confident that he wasn't going to end up going bankrupt with medical debt.
Visit BerensonLaw.com to instantly connect and receive a free case review of your injury. BerensonLaw.com.
Join us each week for Music and the Spoken Word, featuring the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, the longest-running continuous weekly network broadcast in the world, celebrating over 90 years on the air. Each episode features modern and traditional arrangements of spiritual, patriotic, classical, and contemporary music, and a timely, inspiring message. Music and the Spoken Word with the Tabernacle Choir.
Sunday mornings at 8 and again in the afternoons at 6 on News Talk KVNU.
I'm Larry Gelwicks, the Getaway Guru. Join me on The Travel Show every Saturday at 11 a.m., and I'll tell you where to go and how to get there with the best travel deals on the planet, including how to travel more and pay less, free this and free that promotions, and insider secrets on what the airlines, cruise lines, and hotels don't want you to know, along with your call-in travel questions. Every Saturday, 11 a.m., right here on News Talk 610 KVNU.
Kids just want to get out in the world and have fun. But their lives have been put on hold. Getting them thriving again safely starts with protecting them from COVID-19 and dangerous new variants. Get the latest facts by speaking to your pediatrician or healthcare provider, or by visiting getvaccineanswers.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. I'm Jason Williams. Very special guest joining us to talk about something that has been going on for a while now and will continue for a while longer. In fact, this started November 1st, but goes up until December 31st. And I can honestly say this is one of the easiest things you should be interested in getting involved in because it goes to such a great cause. We've had him here on the show many times, but if you're not familiar with the Family Place here in Cache Valley, I've posted some links on our Facebook page, and the work they do is, no overstatement, irreplaceable work here in the Valley. And they have a generous matching donor up to $100,000. A generous donor will match funds raised from the community. So they're asking the community to step up and help them out. Joining us right now from the Family Place, we have with us Jennifer Anderson. And Jennifer, appreciate you taking some time for KVNU today. This had to be exciting for you guys when you got, I assume this was a phone call maybe or an email. Someone reached out and said, hey, I'll match up to $100,000.
Yes, thank you. We actually have a generous family of donors that said, you know what, we also believe in what your mission is and what we've been doing for almost 40 years. Next year will be 40 years for the Family Place. And so they have offered to match dollar for dollar up to $100,000 so that any donations made, like you said, from November 1st to December 31st will be doubled. So our community can double the impact for the services that we're going to provide and give a gift all year long with what people are doing right now during the holidays.
That is amazing. This is now your work with the Family Place. You, as the Chief Relationship Officer, this is what you do, right? You build relationships with other nonprofits, other organizations, businesses here in the Valley, but also with the community. And the work done at the Family Place, I'll use this phrase again, Jennifer, it is one of a kind of organization, what you guys are doing. Can you tell listeners a bit about what your mission is?
Yes, thank you. So our mission is to strengthen families and protect children. So we do that in a variety of ways. Like you said, we do it for the one. We try to make a difference for the one. Whether that be a family or an individual or a child, so that we can provide services to them. So we have therapy, we have education, we have our kids' place, which provides either care on a weekly scheduled basis or respite kind of emergency care. And then we also have the only children's shelter in northern Utah. So we are able to provide these services. We focus on prevention. While we absolutely have services to help with intervention, people that have experienced trauma, we provide events, classes, resources. We hope to do it free of cost, and if not, then at a very affordable cost for them to help them have those stronger families and to protect our children.
What's fascinating to me, Jennifer, looking through the Family Place website, which for listeners, again, the familyplaceutah.org is a good one, first stop there, and then you can click on down to local levels. But the fundraising and the giving through the Family Place, it's fascinating to me. It's so targeted and in a good way. Like I'm looking here at, and this is going to get me to open my wallet as soon as we go to a break here, I'll tell you. But this is, you can donate $20, and that $20 will go towards giving a child in need a black lab stuffed animal that will serve as sort of a proxy therapy dog. So children who have been through sometimes unimaginable events, you can buy them a stuffed puppy for them to cuddle. I mean, that is so, how can you say no?
Right. And just so you know, with our donor match, you, by contributing for that one puppy, you just actually bought two. So that donor match will then double that contribution for the one. So it's really exciting to us because, like I said, it's something that we can provide then all year long, not just for Cache County, but also Rich and Franklin counties. We serve in those counties as well. And there are so many ways that people can do it. We actually have our starfish giving trees out in the community that people can look for. We've already listed several of those businesses that have partnered with us. So just like that item that you saw on our website, those are on cards throughout the community on trees. And so people can come select whatever speaks to them with our services, take that, and then Venmo, the Venmo code's on the back, Venmo that to us, and it just got doubled. So we keep track of all the things that people are contributing. But if they don't find a tree, then they can go online like you're going to do and find something that speaks to them as well.
That's amazing. The familyplaceutah.org again is the website, and I've linked to that on our own Facebook page if you'd like to find it there later. Donate now, double your impact. This is called the Starfish Holiday Giving and Donor Match, and that is up to $100,000. So generous donors will match double your giving at this point up until December 31st. As Jennifer has mentioned, the Family Place provides therapy services, educational services, kids' place services, housing, and more. Jennifer, you guys also do some amazing, when you say strengthening families, that can mean so many different things. And I'm looking here from events called Finding Wholeness with Horses to something adults might be interested in, strengthening the couple relationship in the household. That's a class that is coming up, right? December 1st?
Yes, absolutely. And we have so many classes you can look up on our website. And again, those classes are either very inexpensive or free. We also have mental health first aid classes that we offer to the community. We all know that for each one of us, our mental health has come forefront for each one of us in our families, where we're really having to look at it and get those tools that, where do we find them? Where do we find those resources? Well, one of the places is the Family Place. And that class is absolutely free, and that's on our website as well. And we have another one that focuses on mental health for adolescents. And so we're really trying to speak to those needs in the community that we know are there, but being able to be a vetted, trusted resource to the community to provide those tools.
Sure. And parents today, it has to be a bit overwhelming, right?
Yes, it is.
To say the least.
I can speak personally about that, yes.
Yeah, Jennifer, we were starting the show talking about some of the challenges of social media and what the big platforms are feeding us on a daily basis, but it's easy to forget that, you know, this all comes down to real people and real... Here on the show, we can talk about things in a broad, you know, almost philosophical sense. Organizations like the Family Place, you guys are out there dealing with the literal lives of families, of children, and doing some great work. And for listeners, again, this holiday season, you can double your donation up until December 31st. All donations to the Family Place Utah will be doubled by generous donors, as Jennifer said, a generous family of donors, and go towards all the services that the Family Place provides. Many of them we've mentioned here, but we've just touched the tip of the iceberg. And Jennifer, I know that even though you guys have this Starfish Donor Challenge going on, even though you have all of these classes, you never stop there at the Family Place. Headed into the holiday season, what else can parents watch out for coming from the Family Place?
Well, we have amazing events that happen all year long. Out to play with the Family Place. We also have different events like Princess Party, Marvelous Adventure, all kinds of things so that families can come out and they can see just how resilient we are as individuals and families. And by having the tools and the opportunities to connect, making meaningful connections with each other, that makes our families stronger. It makes our community stronger. And for us, every amount makes a difference. So we're not asking people to go above what they feel like they can give, and not just monetarily. We have opportunities for people to volunteer and give of their time. We are looking for people that are talented and have resources that they want to partner with us, and we value that as a contribution as well. So, of course, monetarily, we love to see that donor match be met and throughout the year to help sustain our services, but we are aware and appreciative of all those different ways that people give. And they do that all year long. So we can keep doing what we do all year long with our mission.
It's good stuff and important work that they're doing here. And again, no other organization in Utah is really doing what the Family Place does for the Cache-rich and Franklin County areas. The Starfish Holiday Giving and Donor Match goes until December 31st. As Jennifer has mentioned here, if you can't give, I totally understand. You can maybe give some of your time. You can maybe spread the word, get word out to others who might be interested. Watch for these red cards on trees throughout the valley. That's kind of a fun little angle on that.
It is.
I like
if you want
that.
to be a business to host one of the trees. So maybe you just want to provide the opportunity for the rest of the community to be able to participate in the donor match and giving. We would love for you to contact us so you could host a tree.
Very nice. All contact information can be found two different places, by the way. The Family Place website, thefamilyplaceutah.org, based right here in Logan, Utah. Or you can find them on Facebook. Simply search for The Family Place on Facebook or follow the link I've shared on our own Facebook page. Our guest again has been Jennifer Anderson of the Family Place Utah. And Jennifer, appreciate your time today. For listeners, please give what you can, whether that's your time, whether that's spreading the word, whether that's making a donation. At very least, go in and buy one of these puppies for a child in need, and you'll double your donation with that single purchase through the Starfish Holiday Giving and Donor Match. Again, it runs up until December 31st. TheFamilyPlaceUtah.org is the website. And Jennifer, again, thanks for taking some time for KVNU today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, and thanks to the whole community.
Absolutely, and we'll speak again soon.
Yes, thanks.
For listeners, appreciate your time as well. Please stay tuned. We'll be back with more right after this.
Celebrate the arrival of Santa during the Center Street Christmas Parade and tree lighting this Saturday. The fun starts at 4 p.m. with food trucks and the American Festival Chorus, followed by the Christmas Parade at 5 p.m., starting at 200 West Center and ending at the Center Street Arch right by Anderson Seed and Garden. The festivities continue, culminating with a free movie. While you're downtown, stop at Anderson Seed and Garden for your holiday fix. There are dozens of decorated trees and thousands of ornament ideas. Anderson Seed and Garden, 69 West Center, Logan.
Wow, your cars look so shiny.
Thanks. I've been taking them to Green Gorilla Car Wash. Thanks to their new ceramic application, my cars have never had such a glossy shine.
Sounds expensive.
You haven't heard about their sale? Right now, their Jungle membership with ceramic coating is half off for every vehicle. Instead of $30 per month, I'm only paying $14.99 from now until September 2022.
That's almost a whole year.
I know. My half-price membership is good at both Green Gorilla locations in the valley.
I better head there now.
It's Thanksgiving. You're with the ones you like. You just ate the best food you've eaten all year, and you're feeling it. An afternoon nap. It's gonna put all naps to shame. You nestle in, and then you realize it. Your recliner is more comfortable than your mattress, and it's not even close. Let's do something about that. This is Ryan at My Mattress. The day after Thanksgiving sale is on right now, and it's the best sale of the year. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally on your mattress? Only at My Mattress.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Utah Army National Guard. Aired by the Utah Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the best in talk radio. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Generosity changes your life. Outrageous generosity will outrageously change your life. It changes the way your eyes look. It changes the way you walk. It changes the way you relate to others. It changes your career track. It changes the way you teach and work with employees. It changes the way you work while you're at work for your employer. It changes your life.
Evenings on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Hi, I'm news correspondent Bob Woodruff. In 2006, a roadside bomb struck the armored vehicle I was riding in while reporting from Iraq. I sustained a life-threatening traumatic brain injury. The military term "got your six" means I have your back, and that day our service members had mine. During my recovery, I learned firsthand the challenges facing our service members who return home with injuries. While serving, their fellow service members always had their six. Now that they're home, it is our turn. We started the Bob Woodruff Foundation to make sure that the camaraderie and support they relied on in the military carries on, and we need you. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative and help us be there for impacted veteran service members and their families. They've had our backs. It's time we have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org. That's gotyoursix.org, using the number 6.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. And that is the show for the week. No For the People Thursday or Friday this week, meaning no For the People movie show, which means we'll have a lot to catch up on next Friday. Appreciate all of our guests this week. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Please get out there and give, if you can, to the family place, helping elderly neighbors, all the different ways we talked this week about ways you can show your own gratitude by helping others. Buy one of those little plush puppies for a kid at the family place fundraiser. I did it mid-interview. I couldn't wait. TheFamilyPlaceUtah.org again for that Starfish Giving Donation Challenge they're running there until December 31st. Coming up on Monday's show, Voices for Utah Children will join us. They have some suggestions on what Utah lawmakers can do with the $600 million plus surplus announced last week to help Utah kids in a lot of different ways. They'll be joining us on the show Monday. Also, Thanksgiving will be out of the way the next time you hear my voice, which means it's fair game to talk about Christmas songs. We're going to be doing best and worst Christmas songs with our listeners. So think about it over the weekend and join us Monday. What Christmas songs should be banned and which Christmas songs should be played more? Whether you like Christmas music or not, everyone has a favorite and a least favorite. We'll talk about it on Monday's program. That's our show for today. Dave Ramsey is next here on KVNU Logan.
The station for news and talk. KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.